Do you want to know what the best guns and the best loadouts are for Caldera? Well, I was asked to make a Caldera video, so I thought this would be the best video to make. So let's just get straight into it. Okay, so number one, I'm going to put the loadout that I personally use because it's been working really well, and in fact, I just got my first win yesterday, and it did pretty well. So I'm going to recommend the Bren, which is an LMG, and the combat shotgun. Now, I know shotguns aren't for everybody, and I know especially people who play on a controller who have auto attack sprint on, they're going to find it a bit more difficult to use. However, at the moment, the combat shotgun does one shot to the head with full plates, and the Bren absolutely rips. All over Twitter, here's my evidence. Modern Warzone tweeted it's like a Bruin that shoots bricks. Here's the build that I'm using. I did recently change it because I was using one that I made myself, but I find this loadout works really well. Now, next up is a more conventional loadout that everyone can use, and it's not going to be very difficult to use, which is the STG and the MP40. Now, you've probably played the game already, and you've picked up the STG from the floor, and you're probably aware this gun beams and is not very difficult to use at all, and you'd be right. So here's the one that I would recommend and I've used, and it works really well, especially if you've leveled up this weapon. The MP40, this is just another build. I think in fact it's what Aiden uses. I'm not too sure on that, but I know a streamer does use this build, so it's definitely a good build. Now, going back to the LMGs, as I think they hit so hard, is the MG42. Currently, the MG42 Beams, I was using it for the first week of Warzone, I believe, and I was having a good amount of fun with it, so you can give this a go as well as the Bren. Here's the build right now. This is similar to the build I was using as well. It's just a bit more refined. And then as a secondary, you can use an MP40, or you can use a combat shotgun, depending on your preference. Now, I know there's always the snipers among us, and I've had fun using the ground loot snipers, so I'm sure there'll be guys here who love to snipe, however bad they are at the moment. So I'd recommend the SCG as your sniper support, as it's a medium to high fire rate gun with a good damage profile, especially at close range. It's got quite good movement with a sniper support build. And then for your sniper, you've got a few choices. So if you really cannot deal and you're really pissed off with all of the nerfs, you can go with the SPR. I know it's a slow gun, but it's really solid. One shot to the head, as you'd expect, and it's just a solid Modern Warfare gun. It's never been touched. It's just great all round. However, if you want to have a go with the new Vanguard snipers, then I'd recommend you either use the Kar98 or the 3-line rifle. Here's the clip I did get with the Vanguard ground loot sniper the other day. They do definitely hit, but the flinch is noticeable, so I can understand if you're a bit pissed off about not being able to use a sniper at the moment. But I'm just going to chuck the class in there just in case you do want to. Now, last of all is basically the alternative guns, because these are all Vanguard orientated classes, so I want to throw out a few options that you can still use from the previous games. So SMG wise, there's one more or two more Vanguard ones I'll quickly recommend. The PPSH is an insane fire rate gun, and it beams, and here's the attachments for the PPSH. Now, going back to the Cold War and the Modern Warfare guns, a lot of the Cold War guns are actually still viable. So the EM2 and the C58 are still viable ARs, believe it or not, even after their nerf, despite the TTK values maybe not being up to spec. Here's the build for the EM2. And here's the build for the C58. And looking at SMGs, you can use either of the MP5s from Modern Warfare or Cold War, and both are still going to serve their purpose. So here's the build for the Cold War MP5. And the build for the Modern Warfare MP5. Now, I'm not really going to recommend the shotguns, as they're very specific to certain players, and I think the Vanguard combat shotgun, it ticks enough boxes for me to only recommend that. So overall, those are all the top 5 classes that I'd recommend. I guess you can call those the classes. If there's any guns that I've missed that you're really enjoying, please do tell me down below, as I'll be very interested to try them out, and I might even make a video on them. Please make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you never miss any future videos. But thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.